In my last video, I started this bathroom renovation with a little demo and conquered a major hole in the wall. My goal in this bathroom renovation was to bring it back to an antique-influenced bathroom with detailed trim and paneling to match the rest of our home. It turned out just as I envisioned, so now it is time to flip this vanity from an old painted finish to something more antique and timeless for this 1800s home. So we finally got the vanity out of the bathroom and we just moved it into the kitchen for now. It's actually pretty chilly out this morning, so I wanted to get started on it. I started just peeling up the epoxy finish that we put on top of the dresser. It acted as a water barrier and actually did a fantastic job at protecting the wood, so we will definitely be doing that again when we reinstall the cabinet. But I want more of a wood finish, you know, like I don't know, I'm thinking about maybe doing like a black wash or something. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I want to see what it looks like when I sand it down to see what kind of finish I want to go with. But also the drawers need some major attention. This is one of the top drawers and we had to cut the back off so we could allow for the plumbing and things like that. But I found that these drawers are perfect for storing like my contacts, floss, toothbrushes, things like that, but there's no back on it. So I need to give this a little bit of attention, put a back on this drawer and the other one, but also the two big drawers that are on the bottom of the dresser, they're starting to kind of fall apart as well, so I need to give those a little bit more attention too. So I'm going to work on that. But in the meantime, fighting the weather a little bit, and it's supposed to be rainy later this afternoon, but it is supposed to warm up quite a bit. So I think now that it's about like 40 degrees, I'm gonna go ahead and take this outside, sand down the best that I can before the rain hits. So hopefully I can get that done. I'm just gonna start with an 80 grit. So I managed to get the vanity stripped down along with one drawer before it started to get cold out again. And unfortunately, it's going to be pretty freezing outside and it's only going to get worse from here on out. So I still have 3 more drawers to strip down. So I'm going to try to do that very quickly and strategically so I'm not out in the cold for very long. I've been scraping the paint off and then sanding, and that's actually been working really well without using chemicals or anything like that. So hopefully I can get this done quickly. So I was able to strip down the rest of the drawers and get those sanded down, and then I also glued up the joints of the drawer just to give it a stronger stability. Once that glue dries, I am going to put in a little bit more reinforcement because around this one drawer there's a cutout and that's where the plumbing goes, and I just want to make sure that it doesn't separate again like it did before. And so now I have pulled the table saw outside. It's still really cold out, but I'm going to try to be quick and just cut down the rest of this drawer to where it's even. You know, this one needs to be cut a little bit more even. And then I'm just going to put a back on it, and hopefully that's all that we'll need to do. And then we'll get to staining. So I have this 1/4 inch plywood that I am going to put on the back of those little drawers that I just cut. And I'm going to leave probably about, I think, maybe 1/2 inch for the drawer to easily get in and out of the cabinet. So I'm gonna go cut that now. So I got the vanity in pretty good shape. I have it all stripped down to the bare wood. All that blue paint is gone. And I also scraped off all of that hard caulking and got it all cleaned up off of the sink. I'm ready to stain the vanity, and I want to do the Carrington stain because it matches the rest of my trim really, really well. And I also kind of want to give it, I don't know, once I get it stained, I want to give it like a little bit of a black gel stain like top coat, like kind of in the corners and things like that. I don't know. I haven't exactly decided yet if I want to do that. I just thought it would give it that elevated look a little bit in the bathroom. So I'm gonna go ahead and pre-stain, get the Carrington on there, and then we'll reevaluate on whether or not I want to put a little bit of black gel stain on there. Okay, so I went ahead and stained this dresser, and I have one drawer that's just off for some reason. It's a different color, and I don't know. I like the finish, but I feel like there needs to be more of like a depth or dimension. And so I have my black gel stain that I thought I would just do a light coat over it just to give it some variation, just a little bit of depth, and see if that works. I've seen some people use like black wax and things like that to give it this effect, but this is going in a bathroom. I want to put epoxy on top, and I want to make sure that the wood is sealed nicely, and I know wax can do that, but I'm just not sure about the top. I don't know, I feel like epoxy is the way to go, and I don't think you can put epoxy on top of wax, so we're gonna try gel stain. Hopefully this works. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, this is the before. This is the stain that I've been working with. It's really pretty. I like it a lot. Need a little bit more depth, so I went ahead and applied the black gel stain, and this is how it's looking. And I love the way it's turning out. It's definitely the look I'm going for, where it's got some depth in the corners, where it's darker on the edges. So I'm gonna keep going with this approach for the rest of the vanity, and I just know it's gonna turn out great. Okay, so finding antique hardware for this cabinet has been very difficult. I actually have been hunting for several weeks now for some handles for this dresser, but anyway, I did find these handles on eBay, and I really like the way that they looked. The only problem is the little drawers on top, this little decorative edge hangs over a little bit. So I was really frustrated, and so I ended up going to Amazon, which I really was regretting doing because you just never know the quality you're gonna get. And I did find these really pretty handles with this back plate. I think it would look really nice. So I'm gonna put these on the upper drawers. I did have to fill the holes because I have 3 inches for the hardware, and this one only comes with 1 hole. So I think it'll be okay. I mean, I'll try to camouflage it the best that I can, but it's really hard to cover the holes when you're staining rather than painting. So now that the vanity is in place, I'm going to waterproof the top by putting this epoxy coat on. It's just a clear coat. And I went ahead and taped all the edges per the instructions just to prevent any drips or things like that. They do recommend applying the edges with a brush, so I have that. And then a little like plastic floater to help level it out a little bit. But They say that you need to have 3 clear plastic cups or of some sort, and to combine A and B equal parts. There's a certain order that you need to do it in. So first it'll be for 6 minutes, and then you got to pour it into a clean cup for another 6 minutes, and then until it really heats up to about 90 degrees, and then I can pour it, and I have about 10 to 15 minutes to do that. Okay, so now it says to pour it into a clean cup and do it again for another 6 minutes. I'll be honest, I was a bit worried that I wouldn't get the stain quite right to give this vanity the antique look I was going for. However, I am very pleased with the way it turned out. I love how the black gel stain gave the finish some dimension, and the drawer pulls were a nice final touch. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another renovation project.